Hello and welcome to another episode of The Quantum Woman. I'm your host, Shamina Taylor. In today's episode, we're going to talk about how to not care what other people think. In our previous episodes, we talked about triggers and emotional mastery. And when you start mastering your emotions, you can start becoming the woman that's in her power, right? And when you're in your power, you're going to be able to speak your mind. Your throat chakra is going to be open. You're going to be able to say all the things that you wanted to say without the fear of what will people think about me. In upcoming episodes, I'm going to talk about the need for validation and how that really does affect us. And it is actually a trauma response, to be honest with you, needing someone to, validate who we are and to really just make us feel like what we have to say and what we have to do is of importance. Without that, it feels like, we don't feel worthy. So on my journey of coming into this space and just my journey in life, people had a lot of opinions about me. They would be like, she's too much. She just says whatever. She has no filter, which was true. I had really a rare filter. I didn't have filter. I would say whatever. Sometimes saying whatever is not always the best thing. But my brain would think it and my mouth would be saying it before I even stopped to just process what I was thinking, and I would just like, bleh. It made having friendships a little bit difficult. You had to have probably a thicker skin to be friends with me. But at the same time, that's one of the things why women hire me for my mentorship, because now I know how to process better. But I'm pretty straightforward in what I'm feeling and thinking, and being so intuitive. Usually when I hear and see and see things and I'm able to break someone's pattern, I'm like, they need to know about this. I need to share this. So not being caught up with what people think. Let's just be honest right now. We all care what people think, right? I think Tony Robbins said this before. I think it was at one of his events, Unleash the Power Within. He's like, we all care about what people think, but it's how long we care about that is going to be, or how much we let it affect us is going to be the determining factor. Now, you're allowed to care and you're allowed to have an emotion. You're allowed to process that emotion. You're allowed to be upset. But what you do with it next then is, going to be how you proceed. So if you want to have a huge impact in this world, let's say you want to be a household name, you want to be a brand that's known by everybody, you want to be out there, you'll see people who are, inhibited, have inhibition, no inhibitions. What is it? I don't know, they just say whatever it is. And this is like, I don't know all those like $20 words, and I'm an attorney too. I should probably know these things, but not have any inhibitions about saying what they really want to say. People will have opinions about them, but they will respect them. They'll have people following them because they're doing the thing that other people are afraid to do. Because majority of people are really afraid of saying what they really want to say. They will, edit. They'll put their best version forward. And for decades, I lived with a mask. For decades, I altered a lot of what I said, even though I seemed to be unfiltered. There was a whole lot of other stuff that I wasn't willing to say or, just put out there because of fear of, what will people think about me? What will they think? And if you are somebody who has a message, or you're somebody who knows that you can impact the world with your messaging, you can care, but you just can't care that long what people think. Now, where does emotional mastery come into this? People are going to have an opinion about you that you can't control. People are going to say things about you. They're going to, take what you've said and twisted it. They're going to have their own version about what you're doing because they're looking through the lens of themselves, their life experiences, what their triggers are, what their emotions are, what they've been taught, what their beliefs, and then they're going to judge. People will judge you no matter what, because it's based upon the foundation of where they are in their emotions and how they see life, what they were taught. So if you're going to go around trying to alter how everybody thinks and feels about you, it's going to be a long game getting to where you want to go. That journey is going to be a slow crawl. being able to come out and be unapologetic with what you have to say is going to be a truth that's very hard for people to step into because, or expand into, because they don't know what that narrative is. Say you put it out there and then people are like, well, who the hell does she think she is saying that? If you can understand that you are who you say you are and you're going to say the things, you're going to draw more people to you and repel the people that are not for you. Or the people who don't really like you are going to be the ones that are going to be boosting your views and downloading you the most, because you're going to be pulling them in because something you said is going to resonate with them, but they're not willing to listen to it or accept it yet. You have to be willing to step into that place. So how do you do it, right? Oh, it's a process. I remember the first time, I think it was 2013. That's when I was going through my separation. I decided to build a inspirational page because, that's what you do when your whole world's falling apart, right? Yeah. Hi. Um, and I decided that I had something to say. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew that I had something to say. So I just started sharing some of my messaging, and it was really hard because, my whole world was falling apart. I was having my Fresh Prince of Bel-Air moment, like my world was turned upside down, and yet I was still trying to find something that I could share that was a lesson or something that I was experiencing, but without sharing the mess that I was in. They say your message is in your mess. And it was difficult and it was embarrassing at the same time. There was a lot of shame around my story. There was a lot of shame around the failure of my marriage. There was a lot of shame in leaving behind being an attorney and like just hearing that I had a calling and that I was having this spiritual awakening and I didn't know what the hell was happening in my life, but I knew I had to follow that direction, and I wanted people to come with me at the same time. So little by little, I would create these posts. And I remember every time I'd press enter, my heart would race. And I always knew that was something that I needed to share because it was taking me outside of my comfort where, I was the comfortable quotes were easy to post. It's when I was sharing bits and parts of my story, when I was showing bits and parts of my lessons, when I was showing bits and parts of the wisdom, because you don't get the wisdom without going through it, right? That's true wisdom, in my opinion, is when you've gone through it and you embody it and then you teach it. And so when you're sharing it, sometimes it's like, they're really going to know about me. But that's where I started getting over this fear about what people thought, because the truer I became, the realer I became, the more authentic I became, the less fearful it got. And people will always have an opinion, but I have to say, to date, my level of haters are not that high. I mean, there's some people out there that have like Beyonce level of haters, because I really believe because they're not being authentic. They're not being real and raw. They're hiding their pain. They're hiding their struggle. They're saying, "Hey, I had this like moment, blah blah blah," which they created. I don't know what it is, and they decided that was going to be their story than what the real story is. The more you can share, that once you've gone through it, the real story, showing up online gets easier. Now, you can't control the narrative of what people are going to think about you. And there will be people that will have altering opinions, and there will be those keyboard warriors. Bring them. There will be people that will say things that don't agree with you. And you've got to be willing to put your message out there, because there's somebody in like that sea of people who might not agree with you. There might be the person's life that you're going to change because you showed up to be you. The way this happens is with emotional mastery. If you do not have an open heart and you're able to express your emotions and be in a state of knowing of your power of that emotional place, you're only going to give people an edited and altered version of yourself. You're going to give them what you think they need to hear. You're going to be very rehearsed. It's going to be very what's the word, like perfect. I broke up with perfect a long time ago because I realized that was actually a trauma response, being in perfectionism, because I would always try to have everything figured out before I made a move. And I've got an episode coming up about how messy makes me millions. You need to tune into that because it's a motto in my life and my business. But when you are able to just take the action and just start showing up little by little. I'm not saying to go out there and do a Facebook Live and tell your whole life story, or go out there and tell everybody all your stuff. It takes time, because the more that you're able to feel safe and sharing part of your message, the more that you become powerful from that message, the less what other people think about you affect you. And then your voice gets stronger, your power gets stronger. And if people have altering opinions, that's okay, but they're not for you. Because if you're in your mastery, then you'll learn how you're going to respond. When you're not in your mastery, you're going to take what everybody else is saying and thinking and feeling. If it's not in alignment with you or not supporting your message, you're going to take what they have to say and you're going to let it affect you. I think earlier on in my my journey, I went to a Brendan Burchard event. He had an okay story. I mean, it wasn't like life. I mean, it was, I'm not knocking his story, but it was okay story, but he knew how to tell the story for you to be affected. But one of the things that he took away from the story was that stayed with me out of the whole thing, because I don't really remember his story. I just remember his story and being, oh, okay. But he said, you could speak to 1,000 people, and one person out of 1,000 could say something so ridiculously mean and wrong to you and just hurtful. And you can sit there and think about and feel about and react to that one person, and you could ignore all the 999 people that had something positive to say to you. We are wired to listen to that one person and not the 999 people that said, wow, you did a great job. Because there's something inside of us that has not been healed and cleared yet, where that one person could have so much control over you, to trigger you, to affect you so much so that you're out of your power and you're sitting there going, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? What is, I can't believe this person said this about me. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, that one person or the 999 people, and that stayed with me, because I kept showing up for the 999 people, not that one person that could say something that could try to take me down. Because I know anybody who's doing better than me has nothing good. Anybody doing better than me is not going to come at me. It's always going to be the people that aren't doing better than me that are going to come at me. So think about that. If there's people talking about you or trying to bring you down, chances are they're not doing better than you. They're not going to be the ones that are supporting you. And that's coming up in episodes too, where I talk about how when you're cheering on for another sister, or you're supporting somebody else, that's going to show where you are in your power, right? When you're in your healed feminine. When you're in your wounded feminine is when you're going to try to break down another sister, right? So you got to dare to go do the damn thing. You've got to be able to fly. You've got to be able to move. You got to be able to take action. And then just whatever comes, comes. You've got to really see the process through and understand that you witnessing where you are right now is a reflection of how many steps you took when fear was walking, with you. Because they say that fear goes away or you can be fearless. I personally think that fear has just become my partner in this journey. Fear is here to assist me. Fear is here to get me out of my comfort. Fear is here to shake me up and be like, bitch, you better move. Bitch, you better step it up, like fear is there to be like, hey, let's go. What are you doing? Because the moment you become comfortable, the moment that you are just okay with your results, guess what? You're just okay and right there where your results are. I'm not saying we don't win and we don't celebrate where we are, but in order for you to get to that next level of emotional mastery, that next level of emotional intelligence, that next level of power, it's going to be what you do in this moment, the next moment, how you show up in it, how you react or you respond. Because a person who is able to show and be authentic and transparent That's going to be a leader that can go anywhere at any time because they don't have to rehearse anything. They don't have to worry about what someone's going to say to them because their story is the same from the jump. They're going to be the same person online, in person, over there, outside, anywhere. That's probably the biggest compliment someone told me once. I met this couple that I met online. We met in Orlando, and the husband said to me, he's like, "Damn, sis, you are the same person in person as you are online." Some people, you meet them in person and they're different, but you're the same. It's like, I think you're even a better bitch in person. And so here's the thing. You get to choose who you want to be. You will know if the volume's turned up on your voice or not, or if you're quieting yourself just so you get liked. I'm telling you, people without opinions are not people who stand out. People who want to be liked by everybody are usually hiding the most shit. Because I used to be her. I was like, well, how do I get everybody to like me? Because I see all these certain friends that were like liked by everybody. I mean, they were Libras too, because Libras get along with everybody. But I was like, how are they doing that? I couldn't do it. I had to make sure I was myself and people liked me for me. And if they didn't, then they weren't my person. Does that mean your circle goes from probably like really big to really little? Mm-hmm. But those people that are riding with you are going to be truthful to you. They're going to have your back. They're going to be your biggest supporters. And they're going to always be there for you. So this is a process. And I'm going to talk more about this, but it is an everyday thing to show up. If you don't like some food, you send it back. People pleasing is another trauma response. Will come up in other episodes. But if you don't like the way your nails done, speak up. Share, but in a very powerful way. Emotional mastery is being able to say, you know what? This is my feedback for this. And I always ask permission first. Do you mind if I share this with you? Is it okay? If it's a service-based thing, I'm like, hey, I would like to share this with you. If you're with a friend, I always ask permission first. Hey, can I share this with you? And if they say no, then you just take that and you walk away with it because they're not in a place to hear it right now or never. But if it's a good friendship and you say, hey, this hurt my feelings, can I share this with you? Then that's good. But a lot of times when you've got a closed heart and you're not in your emotional mastery, you can't express what's bothering you. Again, episodes coming up. But for today's episode, I want you to really understand that the more that you show up, the more truthful and honest you are, the more that you say what's on your mind, the more people will respect you, follow you, and trust you. And they're going to want to be around you. You will repel the people that don't have your message, that don't agree with your message, and you will invite the ones in. But you have to stand for something. What does the saying go? You stand for something and fall for nothing. I mean, this goes with messaging too. If you're speaking to everybody, then you're not talking to anybody. Get clear, know who you are. Don't be afraid. Show up. Let fear be your partner. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, tell your friends, share it, bring us some more sisters into the group. Come join me in my Facebook group, The Quantum Woman. Go download my episode. My meditation, the wealth meditation. It's on my website, ShaminaTaylor.com. Find me on all the platforms, TikTok, Shamina Taylor, Facebook, Shamina Taylor, YouTube, Shamina Taylor, and on the IG. Stay tuned for the next episode, and I'd love to hear your feedback on this one. I've got a lot to say, and hopefully you're here for the ride. Take care and have yourself a very powerful day. Bye for now.